guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Angie.
And I'm Carol.
And welcome back. And today is episode 21.
21.
We're officially of legal age to drink. Okay, anyway, today's episode is very fun. One of my favorite topics, I guess. And today's episode is all about social listening.
It's so weird sometimes. I don't even know why I'm friends with.
So yeah, today's workout will be, I don't know.
I actually don't know. Because, okay, here's the thing. I volunteered to do the workout because Angie's the queen of social listening. Like, I'm aight with it. So I don't want to volunteer for a topic. I'm just aight with, you know. Yeah. So the workouts today are pretty simple for the beginners out there like me.
Or if you've been stuck at home during MCO 2.0 or just stuck at home in general where you are not moving and you want to like get your body moving again, today's workout is for you.
Yes. So let's work out. Let's learn social listening. Don't forget though to like, subscribe, comment, send a DM for Carol if you want to date her.
And let's go! Okay, so on today's episode, like we said earlier, we will be doing all about social listening. One of my favorite topics because I really do believe that doing social listening or trying to understand your audience a little bit better really helps you in making sure that your social media presence, works for your brand. So the first point is basically, what is social listening? So basically, social listening is very, very important for brands. It is a tool that you use to understand your own brand and your competitor brands as well better in that sense. So basically, it is also a tool that you can use to look or track conversations very specific to your brand and your competitors. It can also be used as a tool to identify potential crises that may arise, so you can really pinpoint specific keywords that you can track in the sense that you can track that conversations to see the sentiments from your customers regarding your brand. So other than that, it is also a very good tool for you to identify trending topics that you can then use to create content that will help elevate the content for your brand. So the next point is why social listening. Basically, it is actually very, very important to basically have a tool that is able to house all of the conversations, so that it's easy for you to refer to these conversations, to pinpoint, to identify, what is the sentiments that your customers have towards your brand. And a lot of times, this is also something that I have learned from my previous bosses in my previous companies as well. No sentiment, or even if it's a negative sentiment that you track on your social listening tool, there is always that opportunity to turn the negative into a positive. Now, at the end of the day, it also goes back to why social listening is so important, because it allows you to pinpoint that specific conversation, that specific content that was negative. And there are different ways that you can then engage with that potential negativity to then turn it into a positive sentiment. So next point, how often do you need to do social listening? Now, of course, every brand is very different, but of course, at the end of the day, it is also important to do daily social listening. So at the end of the day, a lot of reports that you create, for example, you have your monthly reports, your weekly reports, you also have daily reports, sometimes when you have a crisis. But on a daily basis, it is also very good to use social listening to look for trending topics that you can write on that is basically very specific to your brand, where your brand can relate. At the end of the day, there are a lot of trending topics that occur all the time, but sometimes it may not be relevant to your brand. And at sometimes if you feel like you want to be cool, right, and go onto that trending topic but it's not relevant to your brand, it might lead to something else. So it is also very important to look at daily conversations and see whether a specific content is good enough for you to ride on, or is there a potential complaint or potential crisis that may arise. Is there a specific conversation that is happening about your brand that you may not have known before that you can now find out. So it's also very important to do that on a daily basis. Next point, what are the features of social listening? Now, there's so many things you can do on social listening, and of course, first and foremost, you will get an overview of what social or what conversations are happening through the tool, right? So you can see specific keywords that are related to your brand. So let's say for a brand like a fast food brand, a lot of times you will see things like delicious. You can see a lot of like different, for example, emojis that people are using or talking about on your brand. Other than that, you can also get like word clouds that shows specific specific keywords that people use the most. And based on that, you know, maybe when you create your content in the future, you can use those specific keywords as well, or specific hashtags that may appear into your content. You can also look at sentiment analysis from your social listening tools. You can also base a lot of those conversations on, let's say, demographics, gender, even up to locations. And sometimes it is also possible for you to basically, what's the word? I already forgot. Basically look at different platforms and what those specific conversations are. So let's say, for example, you can look at conversations on Twitter, on like blogs, forums, news sites, YouTube, and so on and so forth. Next one, what can you do with this data? So as with all of the previous points that I have spoken about, you can create content specific to what conversations that you are seeing. You can also create a lot of reports to make sure how to show you or to understand a little bit better what your audiences are talking about, what conversations are relating to your brand. And also, most importantly, you can also use it specific for community management, for campaign planning as well. And a lot of times people use social listening tools to also plan future campaigns or future hero ideas. Sometimes it also shapes the brand communications that happen for the clients as well. And the last point is, you know, what are some of the social listening tools out there in the market that you can use, whether it's free or paid. Now, of course, there will be free tools in the market that you can find, or you can just sign up for like 7-day free trials just to find out a little bit more about what tools can work. But personally, I have worked on tools like Social Bakers. That's not super social listening, but it also gives you insights. But specific to social listening tools, I've used tools like NetBase, Digimind, Meltwater, Talkwalker. So these tools, although it sounds different, it is also at the end of the day a specific social listening tool that can basically give you all of the conversations that are happening specific for your brand. So Carol, any other social listening tools that you've used before?
I'm currently using Talkwalker. Can't say it's the best, if I'm being honest. I think I've always been team NetBase because I was trained to use NetBase in the first place. But I think there's a lot of tools out there that you can use. Just see which one is most comfortable for you. At the end of the day, they all do the same thing. But see what features you need. Not to say there's a worse tool or there's a best tool. Just like knowing what fits your brand and your needs.
Correct. So different tools at the end of the day play different roles specific for your brand. Yeah.
But I like what you said earlier about, you know, look at the keywords that people normally use and use it for content. Like, I was like, oh, not bad, I'll do that tomorrow.
Yes, so when you're planning your content, just take all those small little things into consideration, because a lot of times I think people look at social listening as like a big picture and not too nitty gritty. But at the end of the day, there are so many features on the tool itself. Like one episode will not be able to cover all those nitty gritty tools. So like a lot of times you just have to like go into the tool itself, look at what each of the sections does, and then find what works best for your brand.
Amen.
Yeah. So that's episode 21. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Carol definitely enjoyed her workout, and we'll see you on the next episode.
22.
I don't know about you. Sorry. I feel 22.